Hello, my friends. Welcome to 40 Days to PMP Exam Success. Today, we are going to explore the business domain and task 3. So far, we have covered the 14 tasks in people, the 17 tasks in process, and now we are on the third task of business. That means today is day 34. Wow. We have really come a long way. On day 34, we are tackling evaluate and address the business environment changes for impact on scope. In other words, as the business landscape changes in any industry, in any market space, it is important that we re-evaluate our projects and pay close attention to scope, because as a result of business changes in the environment, in the marketplace, and actually it's not just business, it's beyond business. We're talking about changes to the political environment, changes to the environment at large, right? It is important that we constantly survey the environment and try to understand how our scope will change as a result of the business landscape. Again, it's everything. It's business, it's political, it's geopolitical, it's everything, right? And that is exactly what PMI wants us to do, wants us to evaluate and address these aspects. Okay, so it starts off with survey the changes and then assess and prioritize the impact of these changes. Because it's one thing to survey the changes and to understand what the changes are, but it's another thing to effectively assess and prioritize the impact to the scope, project scope. And when I say project scope in the world of predictive, we're talking about scope baseline, WBS, project scope statement, things like that. But when we address the topic of agile, we're talking about the backlogs. So how does the business environment impact your product backlog? How does it impact, perhaps there's a current sprint? And if what is happening in the business space, in the marketplace, is changing so drastically and radically, it could actually necessitate a change in your sprint backlog for you to do something different, or for you not to do what you were thinking of doing at all. So after you have surveyed the changes to the external business environment, talking about regulations, technology, geopolitical, market, and you have assessed and prioritized the impact on project scope based on changes in the external business environment and the environment at large, we then talk about recommending options for scope or backlog changes. We also talk about changes that may need to be as a result of these environments, such as changes to the schedule, changes that may relate to costs, budgetary changes. For example, if there's inflation, that could cause changes to the budget. If you're working in different economies, you then have that variability of interest rates and so on that you may need to deal with. The final thing that is talked about here is continually review external business environment for impacts on project scope or the backlog. In other words, not only are you going to do this in the beginning, you're going to do this in the middle, you're going to do this at the end, you're going to do this all throughout that cycle of life of whatever you're working on. Whatever the endeavor is part of your job as a project manager, to be sensitive and aware of the environment. Now, in the PMBOK Guide 6th edition, mention is made of the environment that the project manager is in. I would say to get a firmer grasp of this task, again, you want to read chapter 2, which is more about systems, organizational systems, management elements, all that great stuff. It's going to help you kind of warm up a little bit more to this. Again, the business environment and the business domain at large is pretty weak in the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. Despite chapter 2 and chapter 3 being great chapters to read, it still doesn't bring it together in a realistic, pragmatic context. So I would suggest, in lieu of that, just go for the immersion book, the PMP exam immersion book from Praizion. If you go to praizion.com, that's Praizion.com, and just look around there, look towards the bottom, you're going to find the PMP exam immersion book. The language is very straightforward. It's very everyday, easy to understand, easy to absorb. And there we cover everything that you need to know about business domain, going through all the tasks and enablers in great detail, and also covering them from an agile and a hybrid and predictive perspective. Okay, so that would be my suggestion. On top of that, again, you might want to search for the word business. You might want to search for the word environment in the 7th edition, because the PMI did announce that the 7th edition is a worthy reference, so just do a search. It doesn't hurt. I'm not saying read the entire 7th edition, because everyone's getting certified these days without even remotely opening up the 7th edition. But as far as this topic in business is concerned, you need all the information that is available from our friends at PMI. Okay, so that would be my 2 cents. Grab the immersion book, make reference to chapter 2 and 3 in the 6th edition, and make reference to the references mentioned in the 7th edition with the word business. All right. Wow, we've come a long way, and there you have it. It's day 34. Tomorrow is the final day. Tomorrow is the big finale. All right. And not the finale for the course, but the finale for this entire content outline, because for the next number of days, we're going to be hammering on mock exams. We're going to be hammering on quizzes. We're going to be hammering on some of the major concepts that you need to really get down tight for your test. All right. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All the best, and bye for now.